I feel that it is an event and real, and I did not lie about any letter I wrote today, since my childhood, and I do not believe in the existence of yin, goblins, ghosts and all these strange horrific things that tell their stories with horror and tension and fear them with the madness of fools. Forgive me. I was wondering why your minds are full of all these myths and fear. I do not believe in their presence in the first place until what happened to me happened. And I believed and was completely convinced that these things exist around us everywhere, just waiting for the right opportunity to show us that they are here. I have been living in Sharia for many years with my family, and I married an Egyptian who lives there, and circumstances wanted us to return to Egypt. My husband's work was transferred to Egypt. We did not have an apartment in Cairo, and we did not have one either. I have not been to Egypt since I was 11 years old. I used to visit my grandmother before God died. My grandmother had an apartment in Daki in an old house. We decided to live in it until we find another apartment and spread it out. The house was very old and had an old foundation, but we decided to stay until we prepare an apartment to live in. My husband was looking for a good apartment at a good price until we furnished it. And the surprise was that my husband found an apartment at a very attractive and cheap price, and in an area close to my grandmother's old house in Daki. It was in a very elegant and imminent building, and the strange thing was that it was fully furnished with all its basic electrical appliances. It was a luxurious apartment. It is very beautiful, and its spaces is luxurious, and its decor is beautiful and calm. Everything in the apartment was really attractive. And we would buy an apartment and prepare it again. And this is a very difficult thing with the presence of a little girl who did not complete the 3 years. And our misfortune and all our things in Sharia, it is just a period of 1 or 2 years, and we will return from new to my husband's company and our life there. I went to the apartment and asked the guard's wife to clean it so that we could transfer our belongings and our things. The apartment is very beautiful and comfortable except for its stench. Muffled smell. There are a strong stench smell and something stinky present in the apartment. I don't know where the smell is fixed and does not change. The guard's wife finished the apartment very quickly. No, I know I said you might want to finish quickly as the apartment was clean, truth be told, too, but the smell is only. I cleaned the apartment, but the smell did not go away, and we moved to live in it. Everything was fine, there is nothing strange, and one day my daughter was playing in the reception while I was preparing lunch. I felt very cold in the kitchen and the sound of his feet was outside. I thought that my husband had returned from outside. I called to him, but I did not hear his voice. I called my young daughter next, but she did not reply. I ran up to run with horror, fearing that she had entered the balcony while we were on a high floor, the 8th floor, and I found Talia sitting on the ground with a black book, and cutting papers. My daughter was in the middle of the circle exactly from cut sheets of book pages. Talia was absent and looking in front of me. I don't know from where I brought the book. I approached her and called her what to do. My love did not reply to me, but she was completing the cutting. I looked at the pages of the book. They were all strange and terrifying drawings of demons. God forbid the accursed Satan. I felt a contraction in my chest and the bad smell increased. I raised my daughter from the ground in fear, and I told her, "Stop it," but she started screaming and hitting me with hysteria, to continue playing. She hadn't acted in that way before. She was agitated in a very strange way. I tried to calm her down, but I didn't know. She was bitten and beaten so violently until my husband came from outside. He was shocked by what was happening to the other. I told him what happened while I was crying. My husband grabbed my daughter strongly, and he tried to calm her down. She started crying and screaming, and then he began reading to her a generous Quran until she calmed down and took her in his lap until she fell asleep. She looked at him with amazement. I do not understand what happened to her today. She collected these papers and the book and put them in a black garbage bag. My husband went out and asked me what happened. I told him that I did not know, and here I smelled a strong smoke and a fire. I ran over to the kitchen and found the pots on the fire. It seemed that I forgot to turn off the fire and got busy with my daughter and what happened with her. Although I remember that I closed the cooker, I don't know. That day I felt pessimistic and put the book in the litter box, and we asked for ready food, and after 2 days of that incident I was very tired. I lay on the bed and closed my eyes, and here I felt something heavy falling next to me on the bed, as if someone slept or sat on the bed next to me. I did not ask. I think it is my husband, and I did not speak because I was really tired and I don't want to talk. My cell phone rang, and I thought that she was my mother. I opened the phone and my husband was talking. Here I jumped out of the bed in a panic. I sought refuge in God from the accursed Satan, and I looked next to me, but there was no one. I ran like a madman to my daughter's room, and she was asleep, and found her opening the window of the room and standing on a seat and half of it down. I do not know how she opened it. I do not know an opening, because it is rigid. I screamed and went and took it in my lap and started crying in horror. After that I felt that someone was sleeping next to me on the bed and sticking to my body in a strange way, to the extent that I feel his body is hot and my husband is at work. I have not put up with all this except for my daughter's strange behavior. I decided to leave. I will not bear what is happening. There is something strange in that apartment, I know. I went to the neighbor in the apartment next to me and checked the bell, and asked her about the former residents of the apartment. She told me that its inhabitants were a young man and a semi-couple, their young son and the father of the husband. The apartment and immigrated to Australia, but no one stays in it except he left it and sold it and left. I do not know whether their souls are still attached to the apartment, and they are the ones who bother me and my young daughter. And is the book the one that my daughter found is one of the books of The Foolish Grandfather? I do not know, but I will not be in it again. I told my husband the subject told me that it was real and he knew. But he did not believe in those things, as I do not believe, except when he saw what is happening to our daughter. We left the apartment and sold it with all its foundation and possessions that we did not get out of anything but our clothes only, and we have a serious apartment, may God have mercy on us. And we continued to live in it until we came back again. I don't know why. If this frightening situation happened to me, would the ghosts want me to know that they exist and live among us? The ghosts are real and exist, and the souls of the dead remain in some places that they cannot leave.